Welcome to Unfiltered and Informed, the news show that tackles current events and the most controversial topics. Tonight we have guest Omar Durham, good friend of mine, the founder of CEO of Bridge the Gaps. He's been a teacher and a coach for over 15 years. Omar, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely. I'm going to let you get that shared. I'm going to take just a second. Everybody take a minute. Got a bunch of good guests on with me tonight. I brought Omar on tonight specifically. Isn't that coming up?
Yeah, it's coming up now. I think we're good.
Fantastic. Okay. Omar, thanks for coming on first of all, but I wanted to ask you what you think about the cancellation of college sports and how that's going to affect the juniors and seniors that are coming out of high school trying to get into good colleges, and then also the juniors and seniors that are trying to go on to the drafts to professional athletes and stuff. Mm-hmm. How do you think this cancellation is going to affect them?
Okay, well, first of all, I have two words to say, and it's going to be missed opportunities. When I say missed opportunities, we're gonna look at the trickle-down effect that's going to kind of do a lot of things to all levels, okay? Let's start off with the pros. I know the pros is not college and high school, but it starts at the top, okay? So, for instance, with the pros, you have limited undrafted opportunities. So you have a lot of guys who won't be drafted, or you won't have a lot of guys who won't be able to go to camps. For instance, you'll see less reps. You'll see less visual to be able to see people see their abilities, to what they can do on the field and off the field. For example, we saw Hard Knocks last night, and the coach was talking about one of their running backs. His name is Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler played at Western State, Colorado, and he played last year. He was a undrafted free agent, went on to the Los Angeles Chargers, and what ended up happening is he didn't do too well during the preseason. So now, since the NFL has canceled all the preseason games, you limit all those guys' opportunities. They call the borderline guys. So now it took him 4 games in the preseason to be able to be seen. So now after he's seen, now he's the feature back this year for the Los Angeles Chargers.
I'm going to poke a hole in that only because Austin Eckler would have been riding the bench had Melvin Gordon not had a contract dispute. Like, if he wouldn't have been fighting that, Eckler wouldn't even have been in the picture. He did well. I mean, they had a great team last year too, but had that not happened, but go ahead.
But but think about this. It's not about Eckler being the starter. It's about Eckler making the team and getting the opportunity to play the team.
Yeah, I just wanted to poke a hole in that. I know our conversation was about how it's going to affect these guys, but I wanted to poke. And I'm more than anything, I'm pissed off because I drafted Gordon last year in like my second pick, expecting him to get picked up by a better team because I knew the contract issues were going to be an issue. So I was like, somebody like the Texans will pick him up, and that'd be fantastic. I wanted him here in my town, and we were already going through all kinds of shit with our running backs. So I was like, that'd have been great, but we'll breeze right through my personal opinions so you can finish your thought, about how it's going to affect these kids that are coming out of college and high school.
Okay, well, I just think that in college it's going to affect a lot of things because college is the funding capital, right? It takes all the money that trickles all the way down to the smaller sports. So when you think about them canceling their seasons, that's less scholarships for kids, less for the smaller scholarships that football funds. And then when you go to high school, it's just the overall opportunities all the time, right? Those kids, you can't recoup their season. Football or colleges, you can recoup their season. You can say, okay, I can give a medical red shirt or I have a red shirt year, but once your senior year is gone in high school, it's fucking gone. It's just what it is. So now in high school, you lose all the opportunity. It's not the guy that's the 5-star. It's not the guy that's the 3-star athlete. It's the guy who plays golf. It's the guy who plays tennis. It's the guy who's the coach says, well, if this guy doesn't come here, then we'll give you that scholarship. We'll give you that opportunity. We'll make it for you. So that's the biggest thing. It trickles all the way down to the high school to a point where it just doesn't give everybody all the way up the same opportunities to be successful with using their athletic ability.
Sure.
And I totally agree. At the end of the day, it's all about economics and money. It's going to affect a guy who could jump up from the 3rd round to a 2nd round, or a 4th round who could jump up to a 1st round. The 1 through 30, man, they already pretty much locked, and that's a given. And it's the same way with high school. Those 5-star athletes, they're pretty much are locked. But for the 3-star that might could be going to Stephen F. or whatever, that might could get a chance to go to UT or whatever, it's definitely going to affect those type of kids. And like I said, on the back end for the NFL, for the college kids, it's going to affect them. But still, they'll be able to make a lot of that up. You still got to go out there and perform. Still got to go out there and play. You might, like Dak. Dak had to do his little do or whatever and stuff. He went in the 4th round or whatever. So at the end of the day, this is about the economics, for the college players.
I like how Floyd, and I introduced Floyd Dixon, longtime Atlanta Falcon, and played for the Eagles also. But I heard him shout out that SFA. He's throwing out his alumni out there.
We're always recruiting.
You need to.
One of my things, though, about that is, and I'll just play devil's advocate, there's some players out there that were injured last season, ACL, something that takes 8-10 months to heal, that are getting a whole breath of fresh air now. They're getting a season off. They're going to get to recover. They're going to get to, and some of these high school kids, I was a small-ass athlete. Like, I didn't break into 5 foot until 9th grade. My son's a small dude, but not as small as me, and he's like, I'm small. I'm like, dude, you're taller than 4 kids in your class right now. Like, I was dead last, but I had the grunt, and then I grew later. That's something that I think they may be able to benefit from, which I'm kind of excited for him because he's an early birthday. He's August 24th, which like the 25th is like the cutoff for that grade. So like he's one of the youngest kids in his class. And I'm like, man, you're an athlete. And if you want a real shot to go there, I'm like, I would love to put this season off. Let's start 6th grade again next year, and get him that whole next year. Cause I grew like 9 inches my senior year. Like when I left Houston and went to Belleville, I was this little bitty guy. When I went back for all the graduation parties and shit, all my friends were like, who the fuck are you? Like, holy shit, man. Like you were that little bitty guy. And now, I'm not a big dude now, but much bigger than I was. But
like you say, it's going to help some.
Yeah,
it's going to hurt some. It's going to hurt some.
Sure.
But then what you just put up, it's going to help some.
Yeah, and the developmental, some of those kids that are out there just grinding, they're going to develop their skills, like especially if they go and hang out with guys like this, that are teaching all these kids, bridging the gap. Like these kids get a whole extra year to prepare and to be just that much more ready next year. Ryan, you had something to say?
What about, the guys that, they're not going to have a spotlight on them or some way to view them this year? Will they go back the last year or the previous year? Because some guys might have had a bang-up year last year.
Are we talking college or are we talking NFL? I mean, college or high school?
High school.
Well, so high school, go ahead.
High school and college. I don't know.
Well,
There's a difference.
It's a difference
It's a big difference.
because high school, you're done, right? So after 12th grade, that's all you have. So for high school, it's more important to have a lost season.
Would they look at a junior?
Well, the juniors they were already looking at. We're talking about the seniors. The seniors are the one that really getting hurt the most because if I'm a senior and I'm the one those bubble kids, you're saying.
But that's once again one of those kids that are, because let's face it, man, if you're a stud, you playing varsity your 10th grade.
Right.
You playing varsity your 11th grade.
Okay. Correct.
So those guys already been scouted pretty. Yeah. But for the guy who all of a sudden grew 5 inches over the summer and really grinded out and worked hard his junior year, and now I'm a starting defensive end or whatever. It hurts those kind of kids.
Sure.
Definitely.
Or some kids that on that bubble, you know what I'm saying? You have a lot of kids that are on that bubble. And it might not be Division I. It's not the Alabamas, it's not the Crimsons, and it's not the Texas Longhorns. It's the 1AAs. It's the smaller schools or the Sam Houstons or whatever. They have scholarships, so they say, you know what? If this guy doesn't commit, we're going to give it to you. Right? Because everybody always changes. So those guys who need this season to prove what they can do, those guys who need this season to show, I've gotten bigger, I've gotten stronger, I've gotten faster, I'm more competitive now, and then I deserve to be here. And they need that 1 year to make that proven. They don't get that opportunity in high school, and you can't get that back in high school.
But let me ask you a question: does this help the junior college?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be flooded with talent. Like you talk about some kids that are really going to get to shine on a big platform, like that they may not have got a chance at all.
Exactly.
This. Like they're going to have a real opportunity to shine. So.
But when you say this helps junior, you say that it helps the junior college, and you do get an opportunity to shine. Now it'll help them if they get that second year back or to get a year back, right?
Well, I'm saying that you don't get to go to the Alabama or whatever, but you go to Alabama. I mean, you go to Glenn, Tyler, you still got to work out. You still got to perform. Who you still get to go back in and get to Alabama, UT.
Sure. Yeah, the talent that's going to be in the JUCO field is going to be tremendous. I mean, there's a lot of kids that are just going to miss out because they didn't get seen on the high school scene,
right.
So they get passed over from the big schools. The big schools, like you said, they're already recruiting those 5As, but there's those kids that really make that shine that would have made it this year, but now they're not getting banged. And this is what I really like about it. And I'll say this because I'm not letting my own son play football. And I played all the way through college, and then some semi-pro. I don't let him play specifically now because of the injuries that I sustained. I don't think that he has to sustain those to make it to the big stage this early in life. I'm not letting him play any pee-wee ball, and I'm questionable even letting him play junior high. When we get into high school, I'll make that determination, whether he should play or not. He's gifted. The skills are there, the athleticism's there, the aggression is there. I don't want him to get hurt. And I see that these guys are going to have an entire year off where they don't get banged up. They're not all scraped up, knees aren't hanging, ankles aren't hurting, hips, back, neck, all of these injuries that they sustain. They get a whole fresh year to grow a little bit, develop a little bit more, and heal up and go fresh. And like I said, the JUCO field is going to be so packed with real talent that we never got to see their senior year. They're all getting chopped up right now.
That's only if they stay in the regimen. I mean, you got to stay in it.
Well, the kids that really want to go to the next level are going to do that anyway. They're working at home right now. They're posting videos and they're watching guys like this as videos, and seeing what they're doing and going to the camps. The guys that want to be there, they're going to be there regardless. They're going to put in the time. The guys that you think used to just jump off the couch and run 4.40s, that guy's fucking gone.
Right.
That doesn't happen anymore. The kids the talent is so much more elite now to be there. You have to be with a coach. You have to be with a trainer. You have to be putting in that extra work. And I tell my son all the time, and he'll repeat it. I say, Ryder, if you want to go to the next level, and that's all he wants to do. All he wants to do is play football. He's the best athlete on every single team he's ever played on, bar none. Everybody will tell you about it, every single team. But all he wants to do is play football. And I tell him, Ryder, if you want to go do that, you're going to have to prepare yourself, not only mentally, but physically. And that doesn't come by doing it once, doing it twice. You're going to have to do that shit until you're completely spent. And then you're going to have to do it again. Mm-hmm. And when we get done doing it again, you're going to have to do all that shit over again. And he says it now, and I let him say shit only when I let him tell that story, because we get around other athletes and other friends of mine, and I tell him, man, how hard it is to get there. And I introduce him to somebody like Floyd, but he's known Floyd for years, so that's nothing new. But other professional athletes and friends of mine, that I introduce him to, I said, man, tell him what I told you. How's he going to take it to get there? And every single one of them's like, man, he hit the nail on the head on that one. I promise you, man, it does not come easy. It's a daily grind every single time. And the reason I tell them that is because, let's put an example as we're tied up in 4 overtimes, not just 1 overtime, not just 2 overtimes, 3 overtimes, 4 overtimes. We're in the 4th overtime. Who's going to prevail at that point? The guy that put in all that extra work. That's who still has the stamina. That's who still has the wherewithal to get through it. So,
hey, yeah, like you hit it with your son, but when I want to go back to something else you said, we were talking about suspended season. So, how about if we don't have suspended seasons? How about we have postponed seasons?
Sure.
Okay. So that brings up a different issue, because you have some conferences that saying, we're done. You have some conferences that say we're going to play or we're going to hold off and suspend season. So now it comes complex to now, what rules do we put in place? So how do these athletes prepare? Sure. Right? We got a season where we got kids maybe, or we have an extra time, and then the kids we have no time. It's just becoming a cluster because there's nothing set in stone, and it's a disadvantage to the kids. It's not a disadvantage to the universities. They're going to make their money. Sure. Not a disadvantage to to the pros, because the pros are going to make their money. Like, for instance, the Texans and the KC says the first game they're not going to have any audience, right? They're going to make their money. They're going to make their money off of television,
broadcast,
cardboard cutouts,
and everything. So all that's going to sell. So the kids that you're hurting are those bubble kids and those high school kids, and those people that, I hate to say it, but they can't get the time back. The time is the crucial thing that they can't get back. This is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you had as young adults. You enjoy that time, playing my senior year, doing all these things, and that time is taken away from you, not because something that's in your family or something that happened to you. It's something that happened in society that you have no control over. Sure. So how do you know?
Well, I've got one more to that. What if we're not through with COVID? Leave the ad. No ad. what if we're not done with COVID in the spring? Like, I know that a lot of the teams, the Big Ten, I think, said, hey, we're going to play a spring season. Like, we're going to get football in this year. Like, we're going to do it. I know somebody has a game coming up. I think it's Alabama has a game coming up that they said they're going to let people actually come to the stadium and watch. They're going to have fans in the stadium. But some of these schools say, hey, we're going to do it in the spring. What if COVID's still a problem in the spring?
Right.
What if this shuts down shit? Like, what if this is some serious shit? And it is very serious now. I'm not discounting the severity of COVID right now, but what if we don't have a handle on this? Just like we saw at Notre Dame, like they started school, 80 kids went to a party or something. All of them got, or maybe the party was bigger than that, but 80 of them came back and tested positive for COVID the very next day. They're shutting down the school already. What if this shit just spreads like crazy? And I'm not trying to fearmonger. Like, I'm not. That's not my goal here at all. I'm not even trying to do that. I don't even think that's a possibility, but you still have to think about that. Like, what if spring comes, Christmas? What if we're hiding out for Christmas? Like, put that into perspective. What if we're wearing masks for fucking Christmas? What if there's no church still at that point because they're still not letting churches going? Like, how do you do Sunday mass? Ryan, did you have something to say? You're just holding your pen up.
Oh, no, I have something to say. I was just had 30 seconds. So I was just like,
I can get out at any point, man. I got you.
kind of looking off.
reading teleprompters.
The what if, you can what if the shit out of this thing. You just don't know. 80 people, 80 people got it, but did it affect 80 people? Or 80 people sick? What is it? Even those numbers aren't out.
Was bad enough that Notre Dame is canceling classes.
And I think
they're going to full virtual already. They're 1 week into it, and
I know North Carolina was getting ready to start class. They had a huge party, I guess 2 nights ago, and now today they're all going. They're making virtually,
going fully
making
virtual.
kids go back to their dorms and go back home and do virtual.
So everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon and do it. I mean,
you got lawsuits. It's the unknown. And when with liability, and I deal with different liabilities with a lot of my companies or whatever, you don't want something to hit you. That's what happened with the concussion in NFL. 40 years. How many long? I don't even know how long. I got a concussion right now. But how long I've been out of the league. But when they came to me and was like, all right, do you want to be part of this class action suit? And I'm like, man, I'm not suing the NFL. Hey, man. But then when all the details came out that they knew that we was playing with defective equipment and this and that, and it was all about money for them. All of a sudden, you look at it like, man, fuck that. Yeah, they
pay me.
Yeah, pay me or whatever.
So you think there's going to be lawsuits coming if they made you play during this COVID pandemic?
So
absolutely.
And I'll add something to that. If you're paid to play in the NFL, you make your own decision.
Right.
If you're a 19-year-old kid going into college, there's no way you say no. Look at all these petitions. We want to play. All these kids in the league right now are in the college sports are saying we want to play. I'm not discounting how intelligent they are. I'm discounting how mature they are mentally.
Yeah, they kids.
Yes, they want to play, but at some point, an adult has to say, "Hey, man, calm down, bro. Like, people are dying from this. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm 19. I'm healthy. That's fine." But it's who you could spread it to. It's when you go home. Yeah.
Plus, they're also finding something with the cardio.
Sure.
After effects.
With the heart. Yeah, after effects. So we don't know what COVID, we know that cough, blah, 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 but it might have some other underlying effect.
I don't want to transmit it. Regardless if I'm have the antibodies or immune to it or whatever, my biggest fear is transmitting to someone that close to me or not close to me.
Man, last week. Yeah. Charles Melton, a good friend of my dad. Hey, rest in peace, Charles Melton. Great guy. Melton Electricity here in Houston. Did everything at NRG, all of the electricity in there, did the whole thing. Good friend of my dad's and became a good friend of mine, over the last 15 or 20 years. Like, great guy. Died this past week of COVID. So rest in peace there. I'll shout out another one too. Bobby Boswell, another good friend of mine. His dad passed away. He was one of the first people in Houston to actually pass away with it. They were in Egypt on a cruise, something similar to that. Got it, came home, found out he was sick, and he had some underlying issues. So the family, they were like, hey, if he passes, do the research, use his body, try and find how we can cure this. They did the whole roll out the red carpet, help everybody else. And they're a great family. You wouldn't expect anything less from those guys, but rest in peace also, Mr. Boswell. So
serious.
It's absolutely serious.
Right. So go back to what you said about Notre Dame and what Floyd said. And I've heard a lot of things on that's going around now on everything as far as with the college is concerned. Colleges are going back to school, right? So what happens is these kids are going off campus and they're throwing parties, right? They're throwing parties off campus because
no supervision.
There's no supervision. They haven't seen each other forever. They haven't been out of school for so long. They go back, they have these parties, and now all these kids are getting tested at all these universities. And they're saying, hey, the other kids in seven. Some people are getting quarantined. They say they're putting them away, or they have so many kids, like you said, 80 kids, they're getting quarantined out or whatever. So that's college level. So now we're talking about putting these kids in high school back in risk, right? So now these kids in high school, they're coming back home to parents. They're coming back home to grandparents. They're coming back home to society. So how now do we, how do we go forth, even though we are going forth? And we know going forth is all a money grab, is right? It's not about what they know. It's not about teaching them. It's about attendance and how much money we can get from kids being in school, because if they don't get school, they don't get funded.
Sure.
Right? So how do we protect our kids, protect our families, protect the sports, and protect their careers, like you say, because they're just kids when they have to go to school, or when they,
told to go to school.
Told to go to school. And they have to come back to all these different elements that they're bringing it back to.
Maybe you should keep them at school.
That should be a good idea.
Send them home. Like, go infect
Just let them all stay sick at school. Yeah, all you motherfuckers get sick together.
I did a year at MMA. I went to a boarding school. Like I know.
You can't come home, stay in school, learn some shit.
We'll bring you food.
Treat them like leopards.
Right.
It wouldn't be the worst thing. It wouldn't be the worst thing. Some of these kids need that.
Yeah, stay in school. Yeah, don't come home.
I'm actually glad Ryder's mom's pregnant, and that he's not going back to school. I've been saying it since day one. They're just not responsible enough to trust. And I hate to say that kids aren't responsible enough or trustworthy, but they're just not. They're not thinking about it. Like the first thing they do when they see their kids is run them, grab them, or push them, or like especially boys. Like they're always roughhousing and giving each other a hard time. It's only gonna take one or two of them to catch it till they've all got it. And
right.
And heaven forbids if you're the parent that your kid, the first one, they die of COVID or something, oh my God. How can you handle that? So.
And kids is to the mouth. First thing, to the mouth.
They put every fucking thing in their mouth,
so,
man. They're always got a finger or something in their mouth.
Man. And even high school kids.
Yep.
And then you tell kids in high school, okay, if you come to school, you have to wear a mask. And what the first thing they're going to do when they get around their friends? I ain't wearing no mask.
Yeah.
I want to be cool. I'm too cool.
I'm the cool guy.
I'm trying to hang out with this girl. Kids, and the next thing you know, it's a rampant spread in high school, and it's back in the homes, and it's so forth. So it's just, it's crazy how I feel that they can move forward with it. But again, anything we move forward with today, I just think it's irrelevant because there's no vaccine.
Right.
And if you don't have a vaccine, you can do anything you want to do. But if you don't have a vaccine, it's going to be out there. You can stay at home for 20 days, 30 days, 40 days. But when you get back out there,
It's still there.
It's going to be there.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you get tested. You can get tested and come up negative and just walk out of the building and catch it. So they're like, got to get tested. What do? You got to live. You got to live your life. You got to be able to do things. And we don't really know what the numbers are. It is killing people. I get it. Right. But we were talking earlier before the show, and you just don't know what to believe. What's the numbers? What's real? Who's catching it? Is it, is it that bad? We catch a lot of the bad stuff, but is it
170,000 plus people say it's bad?
Yeah, but it's still. But if you look at numbers of other diseases and other things that kill people, it's still low. As far as the facts are concerned, but it's rampant and it's spreading faster. But if you look at the other numbers of shit, car wrecks, heart disease, tuberculosis, all of that stuff, the numbers don't add up to that. And
I think it's the contagious factor. And once again, to me personally, I think it's something that could have been avoided a lot earlier. We didn't do the proper precautions, and now we're paying the price. And
I think
we tried
that
to
we
reopen.
tried.
I think we tried.
I don't think so.
Well, no, I don't think we personally tried.
I didn't try.
I think
I
the
was
government
targeted.
tried to, because I saw where that's going in they're saying, Trump didn't, they used it last night on the DNC, like religiously, like, Trump didn't do enough to stop this. You can only tell a free society so much before they just tell you to fuck yourself and start tearing up Portland or Seattle. You know, like it's the people that didn't listen. Like the warnings were out there. You know, like we've been talking about COVID since Christmas. You know, Americans alone are the people that didn't listen. It's not Trump's fault. It's not Fauci's fault. It's not Biden or any of the rest of the Democrats or politicians up there. Like, it's us. Like, we are such a brazen, egotistical country altogether. Like, I was slow to put a mask on. You know, I was like, man, fuck it. You know, if it gets over here, it gets over here. You know, and then finally I was like, well, wait a minute, man. Like, I don't want to catch that shit. So I started wearing one. You know, and so many other people were the same way.
I only wear a mask because I have to in places. I don't want to catch it. I've had a couple friends catch it and they said it sucked, but I've had people who caught it and they just got the nose run, you know. So
same way, if you don't put a condom on, just catch it.
Exactly, just catch it. Yeah,
right. I don't understand people like that.
That's choices you take.
That's just me, you know. That's just me. If motherfuckers say, "Hey, man, I see," to me, it's all about visual. I see some people dying, some people getting sick. Fuck, I feel put on a mask. Or I'm gonna put on whatever to protect myself, you know, and that's because out of respect for my mother, out of respect for my father, and my elderlies or whatever and stuff. You know, I don't want to bring anything. I don't want to be that guy who was so fucking selfish, went out there, did me, and then got someone sick or whatever. I can't live with that. Now, a lot of other people, they do what they do, but me personally, it's just not me.
I've been pretty safe here lately. I'll just tell you that.
What are we talking about?
Something trying to tell us.
Well, I've been traveling a lot here lately.
You've been wearing a mask.
No, hell no, man. I had gloves. I've been in and out of the airports. You know, like I've been in Vegas last 2 weekends.
I was in Vegas.
I got mask on, gloves on, like staring at people when they get too close. Yeah. All right, man. John, you ready to go to commercial? We're going to take a commercial break real fast. We will be right back.
You're driving along, enjoying a great day, when all of a sudden, someone's negligence causes you to be injured in a car accident. From the minute an accident happens, things can get complicated. You seek immediate medical help, but still feel scared and overwhelmed. You worry about your damaged property and the bills piling up for treatment. You need help, but aren't sure who you can trust. For over 25 years, people like you have trusted Mokaram Law Firm. When you contact Mokaram Law Firm, you are greeted by professionals that begin to put your mind at ease right away. We have a fleet of rental vehicles available for same-day pickup, and a network of doctors and facilities in every specialty nationwide. While you focus on recovering, Mokaram Law Firm fights for you because we know what it's like to feel unheard by insurance companies. We will ensure you get the compensation you deserve. We want you to feel confident about our services, so we offer a super simple sign-up process and same-day cash advances. As a personal injury law firm, we also handle cases involving bad drugs and medical devices, such as Zantac, 3M earplugs, Juul, transvaginal mesh, Boy Scout abuse claims, and many more. Clients have been satisfied with our results for over 25 years. No case is too big or too small for Mokaram Law Firm. For a free legal consultation, don't hesitate to contact us.
Welcome back. We're back live with my guys. And if you have any questions at all about legal needs, reach out to me directly, 713-899-2019. Anything. You've been in a car accident, slip and fall, hurt at work, I don't know what they're talking about. Got molested by the Boy Scouts, any of the rest of that shit. Any legal needs you need at all, call me directly, 713-899-2019. I'll put you in touch with the best lawyer you can find. Getting into a little bit of legal stuff, Ryan on the show is Ryan. All of these police officers and government officials that are retiring and quitting at an alarming rate right now, twice the normal retirement rate right now. What do you think about that?
Man, I mean, since the media has glorified all of this, bad cops, and the defund the police and everything, hell yeah, I'd quit too. I mean, you got a target on your back now. I mean, everybody's after them. I think, like you say, hate to be, like the rest of everybody's saying, one bad apple isn't every one of them, So it's all glorified. Defund the police. The police are the enemy. Not all cops are bad. But if you're working a job and you got a target on your back, especially in that position, hell, I'd quit too. I mean, the juice ain't worth the squeeze at that point. I mean, you're not getting paid shit anyway. So, I mean, fuck, who am I going to, protect? Not the guys that are coming after me.
Sure. No, I get it. And that's something I haven't heard is a target on your back. That totally makes sense. Right. Because they do now, like it's kind of a shitty position to put police officers, the ones that are there to protect and serve us, but now people are literally picking on them, trying to make a situation out of it, which is pretty shitty altogether.
And everybody wants to be right. Like they want to argue with a cop now and they want to video it. They want to have that feed. They want to get the views. They want to get the likes. It's all about that. Everybody wants to argue. Everyone wants to see if they can outwit a cop or outwit the situation. Right or wrong. Yeah, I get it. But you're probably doing something wrong anyway.
Right. He didn't come over there for no reason.
Well, he might have, but it's few and far between, but that's what's going to get publicized and that's what's going to get out there. Right. Not all of them are bad. I know cops. I grew up with cops, out of 10, maybe 2 are bad, I mean, I've had bad run-ins with cops. That don't mean I'm still going to call them if some shit breaks out,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And most everybody is, even the ones that are saying defund it. I mean, if you could, trace them, they're going to do the same thing if somebody comes at them. Call the cops.
You say that. I know. We both know. We know a bunch of cops. I know a bunch of cops, and all the cops that I know, they're great cops. Everybody that pulls me over, they're bad cops. It's what it is.
Whatever the situation is.
It's all situational, right? But the biggest thing is all these cops are like you say, everybody's trying to some things are not irrelevant, right? Like if they pull me over, I've never, how you go out and the first thing people say when you go out, you can be with your girlfriend and a guy is trying to talk to your girl and they know that they're with you, right? You're with a girl at the bar and you go to the restroom and that guy comes to your girl and you see it and then you see this guy talking all day and the first thing you say is, man, he's very disrespectful. He knows I'm with that girl and he waits till I leave, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing when you deal with cops, right? As soon as a cop says anything to you, we get very disrespectful, right? And as soon as we get disrespectful, the same thing way you act is the same way they're going to act.
Yeah, they feed off of you.
They feed off of you. But if you just say, even if you didn't do anything wrong, when you know you didn't do anything wrong and you're in the right, it is just not worth it.
But when that's the case, you're going to get one of those bad ones.
One
of the ones that's just going to out to prove a point. And you run across those at times, but I still think you could talk through it. I mean, if you're intelligent enough, talk through it. Sure. I've got friends that just want to argue with the cop just to argue with the cop.
Right.
I mean, that's all they want to do. They have zero right. They don't think cops can do anything other than write a ticket, and they're going to fight you on it.
But that's not the only cops that are out there. Like, not everybody's a fucking patrolman.
No, you're right.
Like, dude, there's detectives, there's homicide. I mean, there's so many different levels of police officer out there. Like, patrolman is just who the bulk of the people see because we're driving and that's where you interact with them, unless you're in a homicide or a theft or a robbery, or something even more serious that you don't want to be a part of. That's the only time you really deal with those guys. So it's almost always a negative situation that you deal with a cop. Like, how often do you see them, at your birthday? Like, oh, these cops just showed up for my birthday. You must have brought flowers, or balloons. No, you see them when you get pulled over, when you get in trouble for something, or there's a situation. So,
right, there's more levels in the cops, right? But everybody, the defund the whole movement, maybe that's the wrong.
And that's the wrong word.
That's the wrong word.
Defund
is the wrong word.
Yeah.
But that's because they're aiming it towards the people that are on the front lines, the patrol cops, the cops that are out there at the protests, everything like that. But there's homicide cops, there's jail cops. They're not all bad.
Well, the defunding part really pisses me off because, and I've said it on the show before, you can't get a better caliber of police officer, a smarter guy, a more educated guy for the money that they're paying them right now. So taking money away from them is the wrong attitude. That's the wrong way to approach that. Like, you're not going to get a better environment paying them less or taking more of them off the street. No, we need to pay them more. We need to educate them more. We need to help them learn to work through these situations, and take it up a notch, like really help them.
I'm definitely for the education part. I think that you know, at the end of the day, it starts at the top. And with my company, you know, at the end of the year, we have a performance review. Police officers have to, everyone has to be accountable. And if you have one cop that has been written up 7, 8, or 9 times or whatever, you know, 5 times, all right, you go back to school, get retrained. 8 times, hey, we fixed to dock some pay. 10 times, it's time, you know, to get out of there or whatever.
See, I guess your business is a little more lenient than mine.
I do, well, I'm just saying, because they have a tougher job than, you know, people driving.
That's like a little kid counting to 3. I never got to 3. My mom didn't count. It was
But what's funny, and thank God I've never had any problem. The only time I've ever had a problem with a cop, and he happened to be a black police officer in Atlanta, Georgia. And I drive up this nice car. I get out, and the officer, whatever, he just looks at me. Got warm-ups on, cap backwards, gold chains. And he's like, your kind doesn't live long. I'm like,
you don't know what kind I am.
all I said was, what kind? Of educated kind? You know, man, you don't know me from Adam or Eve or whatever. And then one time I'm coming home from Atlanta, headed back to Texas. I get pulled over by a Mountie in Alabama. And I was speeding. The car almost hit my brand new Porsche, so I kind of sped, went over the thing. He pulls me over, and he gets out, and he's like, goes through everything or whatever and stuff, and he's like, Mr. Dixon, I see here, head back to Texas, huh? I said, yes, sir. And everything was yes, sir, no, sir. All of a sudden, he was like, well, I'm going to let you go. I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is I'm going to let you go. Bad news is I'm going to need an autograph, son.
I was wondering, did you ever throw the NFL thing out there like, hey, man, you're driving a Porsche, I'm hauling ass, play for the NFL?
But then he said, but I'm going to give you some good advice here. He said, you got about 20 more miles on 85 before you get to I-10, and about 30 miles on I-10 before you get into Mississippi. You might want to slow it down because them good old boys ain't as friendly as us good old boys.
Or speed up.
So I've seen it from both sides. Like I said, all of them need to be retrained. You know,
sure. Right.
You got good apples, you got bad apples.
Every career.
Well,
like Cowboy fans, Texan fans.
Oh man, I can't go anywhere. I can't go on one damn show, man. So I swear, he used to do sports with balls with me, just breaking my balls over the Cowboys. Then I did Omar's show, Bridging the Gaps, breaking my balls on the Cowboys. Man, when are you gonna give that shit up?
Never.
When you stop rooting for the Cowboys?
No chance.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna root for them Cowboys as long as I'm taking this money on the golf course. Small chronic break. I mean, a drink break. Kidding. I don't know where we were going with that. We were talking about golf, and then nope. What the fuck were we talking?
We're talking about cops.
Yeah,
that's right.
Dude,
honestly, these people that are quitting right now, I don't blame them. I would too. That police chief in Seattle, I would have been gone too. Like cutting all the money out from underneath her, you know, like trying to do the right thing. They don't have any
support.
Yeah.
I mean, if your police chief's already running, I mean, seriously.
No,
but like, you know, you talked about education, but you know, there was a big hiring campaign. You know, everybody says you got to have a 2-year degree to become a cop. But I mean, they hire them and you can go through the work your way up process.
Right, the criminal justice.
Or through the jails, be a jailer, get out. You know, those people aren't educated to go out and handle the public in any kind of situation. I mean, but there's, you know, I heard it a long time ago from a cop, an older cop. He said, man, if you can't get a job, be a cop. You know, so.
Floyd, what'd you say earlier about that in the pre-show? You were talking about son of a gun. I don't remember. We were talking about the cops and brain fart. We're moving on.
Moving on. We need that chronic break for real now.
Oh, we sure do. Holy shit. How about them Astros?
I haven't watched the sports. I haven't watched any of it. The only thing I ever see is like, you know, they got the crowd noise in the background and the people cut out in the back. But I do notice they have Barbara Bush and George Bush sitting back there in the Astros.
Do
they really?
Yeah, they're in their seats.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I did see. Right. That was pretty cool.
That's great. That's really good. Oh, that's right. God, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me, man. I'm having too much fun. That's
Thank
what
God
it is.
for the eye candy.
I think he was saying I'm good looking. I think he's not very smart, but he's good looking. No, moving on the DNC. That's right. We were getting there, but our next guest is actually somebody I wanted to talk with that about. So if we can bring Heidi on,
Yep.
we could do it really quickly. Welcome back, Heidi Height.
Thank you.
Back on the show again. We've been talking sports and talking all. This is great.
Come out.
Heidi, thanks for coming. We the DNC going on right now. I've watched Michelle Obama talk last night. Then last night, Jill Biden, and we were talking about Kamala and how she's gonna support Biden through this. To me, I was talking all kinds of shit. It's just my character to always kind of be the devil's advocate and pick out the negatives first, and if the positives come to light, I'm fine with that too. I don't see what she brings to it, only because if she flip-flops that easy, how is she going to do under pressure? What happens when we get into some real situations? And I'm talking about war, talking about COVID, talking about finance, the economy, the country, like where we're going with that. She was just preaching this dude's a racist and a pedophile, like during the primaries not that long ago. And that really caught my attention because everybody up there was just ripping this dude 6 months ago when they were doing the primaries. I mean, just crushing him. Now, everybody's on the DNC. Everybody's talking about Obama wouldn't even support him. He wouldn't even give him his if you know the word I'm looking for, y'all.
His endorsement.
His endorsement. That's right. He wouldn't
Yeah.
even endorse him during the primaries.
But I think a lot of that because 2016 he kind of endorsed Hillary and everybody said that wasn't fair. So I think he had to wait for the whole procedure to go out. I mean, he was going to endorse whoever, I'm glad it wasn't Bernie, but if it would have been whoever, he would have had to give his
Stay on the mic.
endorsement. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Well, someone asked Kamala about that. They're like, well, during the debate, you sure were anti-Trump. How did this work out? And she's like, well, it was just a debate.
Anti-Trump or anti-Biden?
Anti-Biden.
Oh, Biden.
You said Trump.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She was just talking pretty much that insinuating he's a pedophile. And she was, really going after him. And then someone asked him, was like, well, that's a drastic 180. Now you're his running mate. And she's like, well, it was just a debate. But, don't you speak the truth during a
But
debate?
all politicians do it. When Trump, man, he called crew, man, ain't no way you going to talk about my daddy or my mama and call them whatever. And then, we buddy. But, that's what they do. It's what they call it, what's the word they use for the term that politicians are strange bedfellows, because one day we may be fighting, next day we got to get in bed together. So that's politics.
Those are fighting words for me. And maybe it's a
Absolutely.
Texas thing, but I mean, you start calling me a racist and a pedophile and shit, and I'm ready to go outside and talk
And
about
that's
it.
why you're not a
like,
politician.
You're talking,
neither me.
You're talking about on the playground. Now we're talking about politics.
Sure.
And politics is big business, big dollars and big business. So whatever brings the most money is the side that they're on, and whatever. And I think we all see it from the outside looking in, right? And I'm talking about both parties, Republican Party, Democratic Party. We all see it from the outside looking in, and then we also see what the media wants us to see, right? And half the people that are out here speaking on all these issues and all these terms, we're first and foremost, let's read, right? Research, educate yourself, because people are arguing off of what Trump said,
From
what
the media.
Biden said, from the media. And all they're doing is trying to make each other look absolutely pathetic, right? Right? You're going to give the bad, you're going to give a little truth, a little lie, but it's no matter than anything that happens in your house, right? Like you said, you're a Cowboy fan and going against a Texas fan. Even if you know you're wrong, you're going to still put your money where your mouth is, and you can do whatever. So it's the same situation, it's just on a way bigger scale. And I think media just has so much power over what we're talking about. with politics, and nobody wants to read. They just want to just say, this is what I like because what he says, or this is what my mom and dad said, and it screws the whole issues up. It screws everything else up. I mean, it's what it is.
I mean, I can agree with that because I'm definitely not an expert in politics.
Right.
People ask me, where I stand, and I'm human, pro-human.
Independent.
But I am, as a American citizen and a patriot, I have been doing research. And so I've been researching before I came on here. And when Kamala Harris was running for district attorney, this is what I don't know if you can see.
Oh, that's great.
They were running as the first American Indian.
Okay.
And her whole family, as you guys can see here, her mom's Indian, and her dad he's from Jamaica. He's like half white, half Jamaican, half black. And so I don't know. I'm not disrespecting any interracial. I'm white, so that's what I claim. But I'm just wondering, now that they want the black community to be behind her, she's claiming, I'm proud to be black. But what about she's claiming when she was running for first Indian American U.S. Senator.
Oh, nice.
And so this is when I was researching. These were popping up,
Correct.
and I was like, "Oh, okay. What about that?" And then she went on the Breakfast Club. I don't know if y'all heard about this on February 11th, 2019, and she was talking about, "Oh yeah, when I went to college, I smoked weed and I listened to Snoop Dogg and Tupac." But she went to college in 1986, and then she went to law school in 1989, and she passed the bar in 1990. And I think Snoop Dogg, his Doggy Style album was released in 1993. And the Dr. Dre, he was on his first album, with Dr. Dre, was released. The Chronic was in 1992. And so they were all released, afterwards, after she graduated college. And also Tupac, his Tupacalypse Now was released in 1991. So, I'm just questioning, like, why lie? Is that a lie? Are you making that up? Or
No, I can still listen to it just because. I listen to
no.
They
point
didn't exist when she was in college.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And so it's like, are you lying? Is it inauthentic? Are you trying to be something you're not?
She's a bandwagoner. She's like a Houston Texans.
if y'all haven't-
She's like a Houston Texans
Y'all
fan.
don't know
She's
anything
only
about
with them
black
whenever
people,
they're winning
man.
and when she needs them.
Black people, look. OJ said he wasn't black. But you speed or you do something, you get pulled over, goddamn it, a cop, you black.
Right.
Tiger Woods said he wasn't black. But goddamn it, Tiger Woods do something wrong, he gonna get handcuffed like a black man. So you can say whatever. Black is black. You can't hide it.
I'm just asking
Yeah.
questions. I'm just
I'm
just asking questions.
Yeah, I can say I'm Irish, this, that.
You
But
black
if I walk
Irish.
out
You
here-
black
know what I'm
Irish.
saying? I'm gonna get pulled over. So, like I said, once again, it's politics. If they think they're gonna,
and it's all like you say. It's what's team you're on, right? It doesn't matter if I'm not on. If I'm on the black team, then I'm going to be black because I'm mixed. So I'm Indian. If I'm on the Indian candidates team, then I'm goddamn it, I'm Indian.
Right.
But I'm gonna be on the team who's gonna pay me the most money in politics, and
Right.
who's gonna get the most votes, and where I can be most successful.
Okay, and what about? I agree with that. So she's using what she has, for for running.
Like everyone does.
Like everyone does it. So I'm not, putting her any down, but just asking questions.
I am.
Her.
Fuck that, man. Stick to one goddamn team like the fucking Cowboys, bro. Don't be jumping ship. I ain't Indian one day. I ain't black the next day. I ain't fucking half the next day.
What do you guys think about her decriminalizing sex work? Like that's what she's going for right now. Like, do you want that? Do you want someone running?
I don't. With all politicians, and I'm gonna just be honest. Even with Democrats or Republicans, there's some things that I like that they do, and there's some things that I hate that they do. I'm not with none of her reform when when she was the attorney general or whatever. Mm-hmm. I ain't agree with any of that. Mm-hmm. I just felt like she locked up too many of us, and it is what it is or whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, regardless of what politician, you got to pick the lesser of the two evils. To me, they all evil. But I just got to pick the lesser of the two evils. Same way with dealing with my friends or whatever. Shoot, hey, I know around Johnny, can't leave no money around him, but I know, shoot, man, I get in a fight, he going to be the first one to hit somebody. Omar, he might not fight nobody, but he going to watch that money, though. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, everybody, we just get so caught up in, I need you to be like, I remember it was a time when Protestants didn't like Catholics. And I remember when John F. Kennedy was running, everybody, oh, he's a Catholic. We always find something to not like, Republican, Democrat, religion, race. Hell, if we was all the same color, if we was all the same religion, and we was all the same, we would still find something to be like. Yeah, we'd be like, the tall people, fuck them, they horrible. If you ain't short, you ain't cool. We would always find something. At some point, we just got to use our mind and be like, hey, damn it, this is right. I'm going to be on the side of it, because history is going to dictate. Mm-hmm. A lot of people thought Ali was fucking crazy. A lot of people, but now Ali, he walked on the right side of fucking history. Some point, and we all got to make our own decisions, but you got to figure out down the road what side of history that you want to walk on.
I think there's one subject, though, where everyone can agree that they will not cross that line. I think most people is on pedophilia.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean? And so Tucker Carlson, they were talking about it the other night, was when Kamala Harris, apparently she made documents disappear there was over like 200 documents that she made disappear about priests who had sexually molested children. And so these are the questions that I would like to bring up to someone. Who is she protecting? Like, where are her interests at?
I agree.
And that's one thing I think all Americans will not look away from. I think it needs to be like the elephant in the room. Like, people need to talk about it. Absolutely. It's not okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if it's something that big, then you're right. There's the elephant in the room that we need to talk about. But I think you can find those same elephants on both sides.
Exactly.
Oh, it's the same thing. So if you bring up that one, that you brought that elephant up, don't leave out this other elephant in the room. Let's bring up both elephants on both sides. I think you have an election. I think you get to the point. I wish we could get to the point where you have a candidate over here, Republican, you have a candidate over here, Democrat. We don't know who they are. You don't know how they look, and you just have their views.
Agenda.
And you vote off that.
Yeah.
And if they come out to be Asian, Japan, white, black, short, tall, and then you like, oh, shit, if I would have known.
You know what I'd like to do? I like that. You know what I'd like to do is don't put anybody up there. Just put up what they're going to do. That's right.
Or tapes or something, and then you can never see the candidates.
Yeah.
Because that way we won't go off our eye bias.
But what's worse than that? Go ahead.
And things that they have done.
And worse than that,
you gotta have a history.
They have to stick to this shit. Not just say they're gonna do it. Not just we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Like nobody up there. You can be Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. You say you're gonna do this and you're gonna do this. Pick which one that is, and then make them do that shit. If you don't do that shit, you're out. You gotta go.
Right. We need to hold people accouable.
Yeah. That's what I say.
Maybe 4 years is too long. Maybe 4 years is too long.
Everybody need to be accountable.
Everyone needs to be accountable, but everyone needs to do research. People, like, don't just the media is like putting us all against each other.
That's the problem. They won't research. Everybody wants to just listen to what they see on Facebook or what they see on social media.
I think I'm gonna run for some kind of office, man. This is getting me excited, man. I like this shit.
I know I can, because I've been cursed. Soon as somebody asks me the wrong question, no, fuck you. You don't know what it's hard work in this country. You unappreciated motherfucker.
Maybe that's what we need, though.
That's probably gonna be me. Maybe I shouldn't run.
Dustin, you know you've been there. I can see Dustin knocking the mic down,
I know your turn got to go. Get him out of the press conference, man. Hey, man, I've simmered way down in my old age, man.
Getting conservative now.
Man, this girl right here and that guy over there can tell you some stories, man.
You want to talk about bar fight?
We're talking about bar fight.
Last time I was with him, we almost got in a bar fight.
Man, and I was on one, dude. My girlfriend went inside to get a drink, and I look in there, and there's this big burly motherfucker, and he's just doing his best. He's like, and doing his best, and she's so nice. It's my ex-girlfriend. She's all being polite, and she's like, la, 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 and I'm looking through the window, and we made eye contact, and I was like, gave her that look, She came out there, and she was like, what's up, babe? I was like, no, what the fuck's all that all about? And he was a good looking dude too, so I was like, and then I see him looking, he's looking at me like, he's giving me like the mean mug, and I'm like, what the fuck, and he's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, fuck, you done called me out now. So I march in there, man. I go right, and he's a good foot taller than me. He's a big old dude. And I was like, let's go outside. He said, he goes, I get paid to stop shit like this or something. Like he was implying that he was a bouncer. I was like, that's great. I get paid to whoop motherfuckers just like you. I was like, let's go outside. And all the security, we knew, you know, being in the bar business, we know everybody there. They're all like, Dustin, simmer down. You're like, come on, calm down. I'm like, all right, man. And like, I turned to like walk away, and I just had to get that one look back in, you know. So I turned back, and he's like, mean mugging. So I just charged back in there like I was ready, and he knew too. Like he knew like I'm about to get sucker punched. Like this dude's coming back for one. So he did like the stiff arm like this, like, and like he was so big, he like knocked over the people behind him and people all around us. So like security just ran. And Floyd, homeboy Floyd, he's right there next to me. He's like, I got you. What's up, D?
What we doing, baby?
Good, D? He was ready. I was like,
what you need?
that's not my, you know, I don't normally need much help, you know, but he had some dudes with him too.
We had
so
a bunch of people.
It
Security,
nice,
police,
you know?
everybody know Dustin. Everybody was like, D, you all right? You all right? And D was in the wrong. Everybody like, you all right? You all right? We're going to kick him out. I was like, yeah, kick his ass out. Because Dustin didn't do shit.
He's too big and good looking, man. He got to go, man. Like,
all the women want his ass. Get his ass out.
Making me look too goddamn short, man.
Good times, man. Good times.
Oh, man. That's too funny. Dude, her first night, she worked at a club that I owned a long time ago. Like, her first night to work.
No, it wasn't my first night to work. It was the first night I ever met you.
Oh, okay.
Or you probably were there. I don't know.
Sure. So I had this business partner, complete fucking slime ball. And that night, Ryan's brother is there. And it's like 2:30. And he's waiting on Ryan to get off. So he's like, I'm just waiting. And my partner's like, he has to go. Tell him to leave. And I was like, that's the DJ's brother. He's going to hang out for a minute, bro. They're riding together. Do not talk to me like that. I own this motherfucker. And I was like, bitch, I built this motherfucker, and I own almost as much as you, so you ain't telling me shit. And he poked me in the chest when he said all that shit. Like, he was all talking all forceful, you know, like doing his thing. And I was like, bro, if you ever fucking touch me again, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. And as soon as I did that, he pushed me.
No shit.
Oh,
and you were bigger then.
I watched the whole thing
Bro.
happen. It was beautiful.
I drop him right away. And security, and this is the best part, Mark Metzger, one of the guests that I had a couple months ago, is an attorney. He was working for me as security there, but my partner had his cousin working for him at another nightclub. So they both jump in this to like separate the fight, and like it's a family fight, but it's also a partnership fight, and like it's the most clusterfuck shit you ever seen going on. Like everybody doesn't know who to break up and whatever. He goes, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I said, and he took off running towards the office, and we kept a pistol in our safe in the club that we own. And he started running over there after he did that, and I was like, this motherfucker's not gonna shoot me. So I chased him over there because I know he had to go through the deal, and he slams the door right in front, right before I get there, and it locks automatic. You have to have this little code to get in it. I'm like, fuck that, I'm not getting shot. I kick the door in, and he's standing right there at the safe, like trying to get the safe in. So I kick, and he's doing one of these numbers, like trying to get in the safe. I'm wearing cowboy boots. This is a country bar, cowboy bar. I kick him right in the ribs, bro. I mean, I probably broke a couple of ribs, and he crumbles up and falls underneath he's underneath this table, and I'm just stomping on him. I'm kicking the shit out. I was like, you ain't do shit. And then everybody comes in there, and they can't get in there because the door's all broken. Like I had to climb through the door, like it's all shattered in pieces. And they're like, Dustin, chill. I was like, no, don't touch me. Like, you can take him, but I'm not going to leave him in here with this pistol, you know? Like,
right,
and I wasn't going to grab it either. I don't want to get into, you know, the craziness of all that. But I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, I went out to my truck, and like, I literally sat in my truck, and I grabbed my pistol, and I was like, if that fucking crazy fucker comes out here waving that gun, I'm going to have to shoot his ass. Like,
and what did you think?
I watched it from over by the bar. And I was bartending next to who I found out at this moment, like Dustin's girlfriend, and she's like, like sitting there crying, and I'm sitting there.
How's she do again?
You know, she's all dramatic and crying. I was like, you need to go behind the bar and sit down. And I see like this one dude, like I see him, he pushes him, and Dustin's like getting like this, and some guy takes a pool stick and goes like that, but this one dude ducks, so it hits the other dude, and the other dude gets pissed, and he hits that dude, and that guy ducks, and I was like, this is the best, like, this is like the bar scene I would do if I were filming a movie.
She told me
Roadhouse.
she was taking notes. She was like, I was taking notes because I want to put this in one of my...
And I was like, this is so amazing, and then after a while, they're just fighting, and I was like, I'm gonna go put makeup on, because I was going to a party, and I was like, okay, they're just fighting for a long time, and then those girls were over there, like, just bawling, crying. I was like, get it together. And then I went out the side door, and then that's why I saw you chase some dude out the side door. And I was walking, I was like, oh, and he just like punched some guy, and I was like, I just left.
Yeah.
Man, rage mode every now and then get a hold of
But
you.
your partner did ask me later to say something that was not true, and he goes, "If you don't say this, you're gonna get fired." I was like, "Look, I don't know that guy, and but and I know you, but I'm not gonna lie." I was like, "You can fire me if you want, but my honor is more important to me than working at your bar."
Yeah, he wanted to say that I hit him first, and it was all on video and stuff. But better than that, we didn't even. I didn't know until way later. I find out through all these text messages and emails. They're like, "Dude, he was asking her to lie, and help him out through this case. He wanted to sue you, yada yada yada." And I find her name, and I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." I was like, "I don't really know her." They're like, "Yeah, you know her. She worked for y'all over there." And I was like, "Well, whatever. It's cool." So I find her at another friend of ours bar, Dirt Bar, and like, "I'm Heidi," and I was like, "Heidi Height?"
Yeah.
Like I had all these emails. I had 700 emails
Right.
from all these different people,
Right.
like trying to help and knowing what's going on, and I was like, "You're Heidi Height?" And she was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm James's cousin." I was like, "James who?" She's like, "James Dobson." I was like, "What the fuck?" Like James Dobson, I go all the way back to like, not quite high school, but to college, like a good friend of mine, like.
Right.
We have been homies forever, and I was like, "This is your cousin." I was like, "Oh, well, we're in the win now." Like,
Right.
one, she did the right thing from the get go, but
Right.
now-
Yeah.
and anyway,
He's like, "You saved me so much money." I was like, "It has nothing to do with you." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, thank you."
beat it, nerd. No, but I mean, and he was just trying to sue and whatever.
He's like, "I'll buy you a drink." I'm like, "Sure."
That was awesome.
That's how we became friends.
and now look at
Now
it.
look at us.
We're doing TV together and all kinds of shit. Big time, guys. Thank you, everybody, each and every one of y'all. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope to have each one and every you guys back. From everybody watching, thank you. Don't forget, comment, share it, follow us, like it, and we'll see you next week. From you and I, thank you.